welcome to the Friday Waffle. Now, you can probably tell I have put the camera a bit further back because I noticed the one I made, was it not last week, the week before I think it was. I think last week I was back to my the games room. The week before I was filming it in the kitchen again because I'm recording it late at night as I am tonight. So I thought I'd put the camera a wee bit further back so you don't have to zoom in on my face quite so much. Anyway guys, I trust you've had a nice weekend, not a nice weekend, a nice week. I've had a really busy week, still enjoying the job. Sometimes at the end of the week I'm like, that was a good week, looking forward to Monday, but this particular week was a pain in the arse. There were a lot of things going on, getting a bit stressed out about stuff, but you know what, I managed to get it all resolved, so happy days, but delighted it's the weekend. So yeah, what have I got to talk about? Not a great deal games wise. Have I been playing any games? I don't think I have. I've been buying a few games. Is that one of my topics? No, it's not actually. Since getting a new PC I can now play some sort of modern games. Now anyone that maybe doesn't play games on a PC, you're really missing a trick. I mean, alright, you need a semi-decent computer to run them, but gaming wise the PC is probably, other than like the free apps you get on sort of smartphones and that kind of stuff, the PC is probably about the cheapest and best value machine you can get. Yeah, you've got to pay a fair bit of cash initially to get a decent machine, but this Steam, which is the front end you use for downloading games. I mean, today I bought, what did I buy? Alien Isolation I think it's called. Now it only came out, I think was it November, so it's only about 4 months old, and I got that for £7.99. Now you simply couldn't get that for a sort of current gen console, but yeah, the temptation is to buy everything. I mean, they bring out these kind of sales packs, you know, with 10 games for like 10 quid and that kind of stuff. I mean, I think so far I've got, I don't know, I must have about 70 odd games, which is silly because I'm certainly not going to get to play them all. But yeah, I've got that to play. What did I also buy? I bought Bioshock 2, I think I got that for 4 quid. It looks stunning. I've actually forgotten just what a great game Bioshock is. I played the first game, in my opinion, is probably the best one. I don't know how I can say that because I've only scratched the surface of the second one. I do know that people say the second one wasn't as good. The first game, I mean, if you've never played Bioshock, go and check it out. You can pick up the game you'll get it for pennies on eBay for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, and you can also get it for not a lot of money on the PC again under Steam. I mean, Bioshock, it's an incredible game. The atmosphere and the actual world that you're walking about in, I mean, for anybody that's never played the game, it's basically you're taking part in a sort of, what's the word for it? It's like a 1950s steampunk, kind of gothic-y, Victorian horror game under the sea, if that makes any sense. Yeah, you're basically in this world that's under the sea, and it's all Victorian horror, and it sounds the total sort of inappropriate world or landscape for a horror game, but it's bloody terrifying. And what makes it even more odd is the fact that you've got all this sort of the 1950s, or was it before that, 1930s? I'm really not too sure, maybe 1930s actually, 1920s, 1930s. It's all like sort of all this sort of propaganda, posters, you know, and you've got all the kind of music, and it sounds all very relaxed, but actually it's anything but relaxed. It's a really, really terrifying game. I mean, the first one, it was one of these games that, I mean, I didn't like playing the light out because it's literally, you know, you shit yourself. That's how good it is. But yeah, go and check if you've never played Bioshock. The third one, Bioshock Infinite, it's nowhere near the same game as the first two. But yeah, it's the third game's a good game, but it's not got the same atmosphere. You don't play the same characters. But go and check out Bioshock. So anyway, guys, what I've had to do here is I've had to email myself the topics to talk about. Now, the reason being is number 6 on my list: printers. Don't you just hate printers? Now, I used to have a computer repair company. It was my own company, proper registered company. I used to run the company sort of out with my main job, and I must admit my pet hate is printers, because there's just nothing you can do about them. You can't fix printers. A printer either works or it doesn't work. And I've just put new cartridges into this printer of mine, and I rely on the printer for work, and it doesn't matter how many times I try to clean the cartridges, it's just coming out shite. It really is. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm tempted to chuck the printer in the bucket. Before these cartridges ran out, it was printing perfect. I could print photos, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I must admit, I don't use the authentic cartridges. I mean, they're about, you know, something stupid like 20 quid each, just ridiculous. I use these kind of budget ones, but they've always worked fine. But this particular batch that I've put in, the printer's just refusing to play ball, and it's really getting on my tits. So yeah, I hate printers. That's the thing I hate most of all of any kind of computer hardware. Right, other bits and pieces I'm going to talk about now. Anybody that was, I was going to say lucky enough, maybe that's the wrong word to use, was quick enough to catch my initial video of my game room, something odd happened. Now, it was probably something completely rational. I was making the video, I mean, it was getting made during the day, making the video, talking, you know, out loud as to what was in my games room, and suddenly this wee voice behind me pipes up, "What have we got here?" And it was like an American, all I could describe it would be like a gauntlet, you know, the speech in Gauntlet, "Blue elf, sort of food." It was like that kind of voice, "What have we got here?" And when I was talking and I heard this wee voice behind me, I stopped and I turned round, and I could not and can't figure out for the life of me where the noise came from. You know, I would say, yeah, it was a game, it was a computer game of some sort, but I wasn't playing any games. It wasn't like there was any music after it or it continued. It was just this one sentence, and that was it. And I've been completely unable to figure out where it came from. I don't mind admitting it did freak me out. One of my pals actually enhanced it so you could hear the voice a lot louder, and I must admit, playing it over and over again, it kind of started to spook me out a wee bit. So I thought, you know what, let's just delete this. Now the thing is, you could start saying, "Oh, you've got a ghost," whatever. I've been in this house 7 years, 8 years, never so much as had any problems or anything, so I really don't think it's that. I think there's a rational explanation for it. One thing that I did have, which I was thinking it could be, is I've got one of these Robo-Sapien type robots that speaks. Now I don't know if it actually speaks English. It does make various noises, and you can actually set it up to kind of detect movement, so I don't know whether that was what made the noise. The only other thing that was turned on was my NVIDIA Shield, so whether somehow there was a game that played that, but it's just, it was bizarre, because I was talking for probably 10 minutes when this voice, "What have we got here?" That was it. It just came out of nowhere and it just disappeared. There was nothing else, so very strange. So yeah, if you missed the video, well, tough, because I took the video down, I deleted all traces of this noise, because you know, I didn't like it, to be honest with you. So yeah, that was the voice in the games room, and hopefully I won't have any follow-up videos with the same thing. I bought a Texas T1994A. Why did I buy it? I have no idea. I bought it really because it was my first computer that I owned. Now annoyingly, the guy that sold it to me, he sold it as working. He did tell me it was an American one. Now I did say to him, "Does it work okay?" And he said, yeah, it works okay. When it arrived, there is no video cable with it. So I went back to him and he was being a bit an arse about it, saying, oh, you got it for a good price. And I says, look, it's irrelevant how much you sold it to me for. You sold it to me as working, and right now I can't use it because it's incomplete. He eventually decided to give me, he managed to find a cable that cost £5, and I says, look, give me, split it in the middle. So he has now given me £2.50 to buy this cable. But it's got me thinking, what have I got the computer for? I'm never going to use it, I've got no software to use in it, I've got no means to load anything. So I'm probably going to punt it on. I mean, I paid 25 quid for it, I'm sure I could probably get more if not double my money on eBay. So yeah, I'm going to sell it on, because I was a bit kind of pissed off with the guy messing me about. I mean, if that was me, if I sold something to somebody as working, the funny thing is when I told him there was no video cable, he's like, oh, I thought there was. So he obviously thought there was. Now he should have right away said, I'm really sorry, I'll go and buy you one. But no, he was being a bit an arse about it, saying, oh well, you know, you got it for 25 quid, which is a good price, even though there was a guy selling one of my mates actually bought the same machine for 20 quid, and that came with the cable, so £25 wasn't that good. But it's irrelevant how much I paid. He sold it to me as working, and it wasn't working. You know, I can't use it. So anyway, that's the Texas T19948, the Atari ST, which in fact, I don't know why I'm even mentioning the Atari ST. I've got the Atari ST sitting here. I bought a SCART cable. I got the Atari ST a long time ago. I bought a SCART cable, and I also bought, what did I buy? I bought this SD adapter thing, which has got like 200 games in it. So I spent about 45 quid for these two things. Plugged the Atari ST in, and lo and behold, I get this corrupted screen of graphics. Now one of the guys in the Retro Club sent me a link to a YouTube video. It apparently is quite a common fault in the 520 ST. So I've got the thing sitting here, and I'm going to give it a wee shot trying to repair it. Apparently there's two chips that come a bit loose, and what you just need to do is lift them up, clean it, pop them back in. So I'll probably give that a wee chance, give that a try over the weekend at some point. So that was that. Apologies about lacky videos. I maybe shouldn't be apologising, guys, because at the end of the day I didn't make it quite clear that I'm going to be cutting back. It's not been through lack of effort, believe you me. I put out a video, what was it, showing the new Commando arcade. That was a game that came out in the C64 last year, which was a revamp, or it was an enhanced version of the original Commando by Elite. This group of guys brought out a new version last year. They basically took the original version, they tidied the graphics up, they got rid of all the glitches, they added in some wee cutscenes, added in the extra 5 levels, so instead of 8 levels, or instead of 3 levels, you've now got 8, which is superb. But they brought out a new version, that version 2, earlier on this week. Now what I did was I managed to figure out that I can actually have 2 screens running side by side. So what I was actually doing is I was playing both games at the same time, using just the one joystick. So basically when I was moving the joystick left or right, the sprite on both screens were moving at the same time, and the idea of that was to let you see them running side by side. What I didn't realise was the bloody software I was using zoomed right in, so it was a complete and utter waste of time. Now I did try to redo that video today at lunchtime, and it was just totally playing up. It's been a complete pain in the arse, so that's 2 attempts I've had to make that video, and I've given up. So yeah, I do know that I've not been putting out that many videos. I mean, I'm hopefully got Dominic Diamond, in fact not hopefully, all going well. I've already arranged with Dominic Diamond that we're going to be talking on the 1st April. Was that Wednesday? I think it is. Yeah, I'm talking to Dominic at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. I've got a few other guys lined up. Again, I had John Studley. He was supposed to be getting interviewed on Sunday past, but due to technical difficulties at his side, we couldn't do it. So yeah, there's been a few wee sort of irks and sort of technical problems along the way. But again, guys, the job is really taking a lot of time. Now, don't panic when I say this, but there has been a few times in the last couple of weeks I always feel a bit under pressure to try and put videos out, especially when I'm sort of making promises, and because I've not been doing that, there's been a wee bit of thinking to myself, is it maybe time to knock the channel on the head? Maybe if I can't put out content as much as I should be, maybe it's better to knock it on the head. I'm not going to do that, so please don't think, oh, you know, I don't want you to go. I'd like to hope that you would miss it. Sometimes I get a bit carried away with things. I mean, I'm doing all these blind mates only, and that takes up a lot of organisation, and trying to do that as well as holding down a job, which is very stressful, plus having a family and that kind of stuff. I'm maybe biting off more than I can chew, I don't know, but I hope you just realise, guys, that you're not getting the usual 3-4 videos that I was putting out a few months ago. It's going to be more, maybe 2 or 3 videos a week. I hope you understand that's the reason. I mean, if I had to put out more than 3, then I'd probably quite simply knock it in the head, because I just can't. I can't afford that time. You know, but I'm enjoying doing this, guys, so I'm going to keep it going. As long as you appreciate that you're not going to get 4 or 5 videos every week like I was doing a few months ago. I just don't have the time to do that. So anyway, what else have I got here? Yeah, lucky videos. Obviously this is Friday night. Tomorrow morning I'm taking my daughter to athletics club. Then about 11 o'clock when I get back, I'm driving down to, well, it's Newcastle, just outside Newcastle. I'm picking up Paul Lee Moz, who I interviewed a few weeks ago. I'm picking up Paul. Then we're driving down to, I can't even remember the name of the place. It's basically near Blackburn. It's not far from Stoke. We're going to this arcade club. Now the arcade club is just what it is, what it sounds. It's a big group of arcade video games, and I think you can take out a membership. But you can also go, I think it's £10 or something. It doesn't open until 6 o'clock at night, and it's open till 10 at night. So I'm meeting Paul, picking Paul up, and I'm meeting my mate Andy Lowe, Sick Boy, that's his name on the internet. We're going to meet Andy down there, and we're going to go to this arcade club thing tomorrow night, and then I'll be coming back on Sunday morning. We're staying in a travel lodge and coming back on Sunday morning, so yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah, that's all I've got to talk about. I've got a few questions from other guys, but I'm just going to pause this for a second. Right, okay, the ever reliable Mr. Jamie Williamson. Jamie's got a few questions here. Now again, I've not actually read these, so I've got absolutely no idea what he's going to ask. Number 1, what are your opinions on the current love for pixel art and chiptunes? Other than as a retro thing, what is their appeal? My eldest is only 20 and he loves them, so it can't just be a retro thing. Right, pixel art. We'll cover it in 2 bits. Pixel art, I've got to say, I really like pixel art. I mean, there's something quite appealing about having a big expanded sprite thing stuck to your wall. Now you can buy them. There's people who make them and sell them. They're actually, they charge quite a lot to make them. I think they're a bit overpriced myself. Now I bought a shitload of beads from, is it Hobbycraft, I think it is. You can get them, I say dirt cheap. I mean, I spent maybe 20 quid. Now, I've been making my own ones, which I've let you see. I've not made any for quite a long time, but they're dead easy to make. All you need to do is get type in the name of, a game, Spectrum, Sprites, whatever. Zoom in, and you can just basically plonk the beads and make your own ones. I think they're great. I mean, it does take a bit of time to make them, but it's not difficult. And then you just basically get an iron, and you iron them. You have to put like is it greaseproof paper or something over them. But they're good fun. I do like the pixel art, but there's a lot of people try to sell them, and like I said, I think they're trying to kind of cash in a wee bit too much. I mean, there's a retro for sale page, and there's a guy selling them, and he's wanting like 40 quid for 2. So they're quite big ones, I suppose, but I just think that they're totally overpriced. But if you like pixel art, get yourself beads. Go on eBay, type in hammer beads, order yourself some. You can make your own ones really easily. But it's good fun. It's like, if you enjoy doing jigsaws, then you'll enjoy hammer beads. It's quite good fun, and it's certainly it's quite rewarding seeing your own pixel art stuck to your wall. Chip tunes. Now it's interesting, myself and Jamie Hampshire, get that right. If you keep wondering why I'm looking down, Archie's sitting there. Yeah, Jamie Hampshire, he was. We were talking about music, and I was making the comment how, being an early adopter of computers back in the 64 days, I loved the whole chip music. Jean-Michel Jarre, all these guys, they were massive at that time, and so getting like versions of these songs like Equinox and Oxygen Part 1, Part 2, getting home computer versions of these was amazing. I used to sit and listen to like computer music. I'd be reading my Zap 64 magazine, and I would, instead of putting an album on, I would play some Rob Hubbard tunes or some Mighty Bog tunes. I mean, it was brilliant, really, really good. But as hardware has evolved, now you simply don't, you never think about music. I mean, you play a PlayStation 4 game or even an Xbox game, or let's be honest, even a PlayStation game, you didn't ever think to yourself, this sounds great and that sounds just like a car engine, or listening to music, that sounds amazing. Because all these consoles now and computer games and Steam, it's all proper instruments, it's all real music. So it's lost the computer element, it's lost the computer sound. It doesn't sound like computer generated music, it sounds like real music. Chip music goes back to making it sound like a computer. So as much as I've not listened to any modern chip music, I totally get it. It doesn't sound as good as real music, but what makes it appealing is because it sounds like it's come from a computer, and that's the whole point of it. You appreciate it for what it is. I mean, you listen to Whizball, at the end you get the wee guitar riff when you die. That's awesome. Now if that was a real guitar, you wouldn't think anything of it, but because I know it's a Commodore 64 attempting to sound like a guitar, it's mental, it's really, really rewarding, and that's what makes chip music, to my mind, enjoyable. So yeah, Jamie, I'm all for bringing back chip music. I don't know what kind of hardware it's coming out on. Is it coming out on PC or something? I don't know, but yeah, I like chip music, because I was there at the start when chip music it wasn't called chip music, it was just called music on your Commodore 64, but obviously the generic term now is chip music. But I'm all for it because it allows it allows the kind of bedroom coder element to sort of have a crack at making music. So yeah, definitely like that. And my phone's just going to sleep. I'm going to cup of tea myself. Okay, number 2. Jamie's saying here, with Steam, Android and other such gubbins, gaming seems to have come full circle, with tons of indie games released every year. A great thing, obviously. As a result, 2D gaming has made a comeback. Is this a good thing, or is it dated, and should games be 3D where practical? No, 2D, yeah, in the early days 2D was all we could get because the hardware was not capable of, pushing out games in 3D. But I mean, I always think like the PlayStation and Saturn have aged quite badly, because they were like they were like the very first generation of kind of 3D hardware. And then when you look back at the PlayStation and the games now, there's pop-up central. Pardon me, it looks crap, but the generation that came out before the PlayStation, you've got your Mega Drive, you've got your SNES, you've got your Commodore Amiga. These were all 2D games, and I mean basically after these consoles disappeared, nobody made 2D games. It's just, people thought it's the future, we all want 3D. Now, through the use of indie games, iOS and all these kind of like PlayStation channels and all that kind of stuff, we're now seeing a return to bedroom coders and indie game makers, and they're now starting to pump out games that are in 2D. and it's making people who probably never ever played a 2D game before, it's making them realise just games don't have to be three-dimensional or first person or whatever you want to call it. They don't have to be like that to be enjoyable. A good game is a good game, irrelevant whether it's 3D, 2D, you know, looking down, whatever. I mean, my favourite games are probably not 3D. You know, it's kind of irrelevant. It's like saying black and white films are rubbish. There's some amazing black and white films. You know, yeah, colour's good, black and white's good as well. And it's the same with 2D games. I mean, 2D games don't try to compete with 3D games. There's definitely a place for 3D games. I would hate it to go back that there was no 3D games, because 3D games are obviously, you know, they're almost more immersive and that kind of stuff. But if I was to try and come up with a top 10 video game list for me, I'd be lucky if there was any 3D games, maybe Resident Evil 4, that's about it. But yeah, absolutely, I'm delighted to see some more modern consoles having what people would term old-fashioned graphics, because it just proves that a good game is a good game regardless of whether it's with 3D graphics or 2D, whatever, you know. So yeah, all for the return to see two-dimensional games again. Number 3, due to your current time and energy constraints, maybe you could do an extra mashup or two to fill the gaps. Either way, would you ever take requests for games you'd like to see given the Scotcher treatment? Maybe you could have a list of 5 games and we can vote. Well, listen guys, I mean, I think I've put out a couple of 10-minute mashups this week. I mean, that's, you know what, we're getting involved in this, blimey, it's only, I've started to, it kind of crossed my mind that I'm maybe starting to forget my roots, if that makes any sense. I mean, I'm all for keeping the channel interesting and fresh, but at the end of the day, the 10-minute mashups, it's what I'm about, that's what I do. I mean, I can make a 10-minute mashup really easily. So yeah, I'm going to get back to putting out 10-minute mashups. I mean, there's an absolute unlimited number of games that I could feature. So definitely, I'm going to go back to 10-minute mashups. Try and get a couple out a week. I can make them dead easily. But I'm not going to put a list up, guys. But honestly, if there's any game that you want me to play, by all means, just tell me and I'll play it. I don't have a problem with that at all. It sounds stupid, but with all these hundreds of games, sometimes I think to myself, what can I play? And my mind goes blank. So if you've got any game, whether it's brilliant, crap, whatever, you know, don't pick an adventure game, whatever, but if there's a game you want to see me play and give my Scotcher opinion or outlook on it, then by all means guys, let me know and I will definitely feature it. That's a promise. Number 4, what about feature requests? For example, I would love to delve into, was it Gamebase you use, a funky front end that looks pretty complex to set up, maybe a guide would be cool. Now I did actually reply to that, Jamie, saying I was going to make a video. Now I am sure I've already made a video for Gamebase. See if you go into my archive, I can't remember what I'd call it, just type in Mamemeister Gamebase. I'm sure, in fact let me just have a quick look just now, I'll go on myself actually, go into YouTube, M-E-I-S-T-R, Mamemeister, I'm sure I did do a video. I mean, I'm certainly happy to try and do a more, yeah, there we go, a 27-minute video actually.
Basically, I mean, you can download Gamebase, but to actually get, you need to then.
Yeah.
Gamebase is just purely.
So there you go, guys. Jamie in particular.
Make your own add-in files.
Did get a thumbs down, so he was obviously about even back then. Right, shut up, Alan. Shut up. Aye, whatever. Right, anyway. Yeah, so to answer your question, Jamie, I've already got one. Just type in Mamemeister Gamebase and you'll find it. Let's find these questions again. Yeah, okay. But again, I maybe sound like I'm struggling for motivation. It's not that I don't want to make videos, because again it goes back to the old job side of things. I don't have the time to, I simply don't have the time to think about what I can talk about during the day. And what happens is it gets to night time, walk the dogs, get my dinner, it gets to night time, it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, what can I do, what can I make up? So I'm all for if there's any features that you guys want to see, just stick it down below, guys, and I'll certainly give it a good go. So yeah, but yeah, you can watch the game base feature if you just Google Mamemeister and game base. And very lastly, guys, Chris Bateman, he actually posted this on my Facebook page. I was on the JAMA Plus message board and saw a post where Silcott's Amusements, who own Funland at Southport, have purchased 3 vintage arcade machines, a Defender, Space Invaders bootleg, and one of those 90-in-1 main cell cab jobs. It looks like the owners of the big coastal arcades are seeing the rise in popularity of retro arcades dotted around the country, such as the Arcade Club, where I'm going to tomorrow, and RGP, not sure what that is. And you know, they're beginning to see the advantages in bringing back these. I'm in two minds about it really. Bigger coastal arcades going retro, is it for profit or purely historical preservation? Your views please. Well, you know what, Jamie, Chris, I beg your pardon, if these machines, if these big arcades see that there are people want to play these old machines again and they start buying them up, whether it's on MAME or whatever, I'm all for it. I think you're not going to hear any sort of true retro gamer knock the idea of these arcades coming back. I mean, they're never going to be as big or as popular as they were. I mean, you get a 10-year-old and you put him in front of Space Invaders, he's just going to look at it and think that's a lot of crap. We'd much rather play a grabber machine or something. So you're never going to get the big mass retro, or the mass arcades that you had in the 80s, you know, Blackpool and all these seaside resorts. But if some of these arcade owners want to start buying some of the vintage machines and open up, even have like what might actually happen is you might end up getting like a sort of retro section, you know. But absolutely, I would absolutely love to see a return of these arcades. I mean, I'm driving a round trip of what, maybe 700 miles over the next couple of days to play some arcade games. So yeah, I'm all for, you know, if somebody would open up an arcade near to me, I'd be all for it. In fact, that's just got me thinking. There was a Kickstarter about 3 years ago, and it was actually a group of guys, and they were going to open up what they termed as the biggest arcade in the UK. And it sounds a wee bit like this Arcade Club thing. What they were going to do is they were going to supposedly buy all these hundreds and hundreds of retro machines. I don't like using the word retro, they're classic arcade games, you know, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Gorf, all these machines. They were going to buy up all these machines and open up an arcade. But what they were going to do is, it was going to be a membership club, and you were going to have to pay X amount every month to use it. And I mean, they were wanting something outrageous. I think they were wanting something like £100,000. But you were to pay as a funder or a backer. You were to pay money to back this. Yet you were still expected to pay money every month to go and use this thing. And people like myself and everybody else thought, wait a minute, you know, what are we getting for our money? You know, and I knew that there was no way that this was ever going to kick off. There's just not enough interest. I mean, this hobby of ours, it's, you know, it's grown in popularity. Although I personally think, I was talking to one of my friends who's got a really vast retro game collection. Yeah, like, I'm using the word retro again. Games collection, and he was saying that him and a lot of his serious kind of collector buddies, they seem to think that the collector bubble's about to burst. He says that stuff like the SNES seem to be going up in price, but there's a lot of things that he thinks prices are going to start coming down again. So I think the retro scene has definitely peaked. And even if it's, I mean, you go along to Replay and all that kind of stuff in Blackpool, all these events, and yeah, there's maybe 200-300 people, but that's 200-300 people out the UK. It's a tiny percentage of the populace. So although, you know, we think it's grown in popularity, retro gaming is still a very niche, minor interest in the scale of like football or whatever you want to call it, anything else. It's still a tiny interest. So when they were putting out this proposition for this big arcade, I knew there was no way in a million years they were going to get the money for it, and I think they ended up getting something like £7,000 out of the £100,000 that they're wanting. So yeah, but I thought they were being bloody greedy. I mean, they're wanting you to put like 50 quid, and you know, I think you got to go, in fact I think what you got for your money was you got to go to the opening night with the celebs, gaming celebs, and I thought, nah, you're alright, you'll not be getting my money, mate. So anyway, listen guys, it's getting late, I'm getting quite tired, I've got to be up quite early tomorrow. So yeah, apologies about another fairly mundane waffle. It's also late at night, so I'm having to kind of whisper, but I hope you enjoyed watching it guys. Please ping any questions for next week's waffle. If you want to have any features, you want to see any features brought in, give me ideas, let me know what you want to see. If you want me to play any games in my 10-minute mashup, again, put the questions down below, put the game you want me to play down below. Hope you have an excellent weekend guys, and as usual, thank you so much for watching.